Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, customer wants to call us every hour until her issue is fixed, sure. 3 minutes late. I did exactly as I was told. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Customer wants to call us every hour until her issue is fixed, sure. So I work at a pretty big tech company as a help desk agent, and as any help desk employee, I've had my fair share of crazy customers, like this one who we shall call Karen. We would mainly answer the phone and emails and then log in tickets to our system for handling all the issues customers would require us to solve. Each logged ticket will cause the customer to be billed the standard help desk fee, and then it would add up depending on how long it takes, parts needed, etc. On to the story. So one morning Karen calls in and asks about a ticket she had logged like 2 hours ago. I go and check the status and see it was a pretty standard account request for one of her employees, and it was already being handled by the team that creates these particular accounts. This account was for an outside system for which we only provide the accounts, and they have their own support for problems. Due to synchronization after we create the account, it takes roughly 24 hours for it to be functional, and this is quite well known for the managers who usually request them to be created. I inform Karen that the account is being created right now and she should be getting a confirmation about it soon. I also remind her that it can take about 24 hours for it to be functional. As soon as I said these things, the tone on her changed immediately, and she informed me quite annoyingly that this was very urgent and it should be functional faster. We talk for a little while longer and I explain to her why exactly it takes this long, and finally she seems to understand and we end the call. About an hour later, one of my colleagues sends me a message asking if I've talked to this lady before and tells me she's calling again, angry and demanding that the account should be made faster. Once again they explain the same things I did and they end the call. About another hour later I answer a call and it's Karen again, even angrier and practically yelling that the account needs to be created now. I check the ticket again and see it has been completed, so the account should be working tomorrow. I tell this to Karen and she is not happy. She starts to yell all sorts of things and says that this is not how we should do things, and again I inform her that the system she needs the account for is not ours and this is something we can't do anything about, but she won't have it. She then calmly informs me that if this is how we do things then she will be calling us every hour to waste our time until the account is done. I can almost hear the smirk on her face as she says this. Now, even though she was being extremely rude, I didn't want to be a stupid and tried to inform her that every time she calls we are required to log in a ticket and her company will be charged the standard help desk fee, but as I try to tell this, she just cuts me off and refuses to listen, so at this point I say alright, call us if you want. So then she proceeds to call us every hour for the rest of her workday, and next morning, I get a few of her calls and just always repeat the same thing: account will be working within 24 hours. And each time she calls me or one of my colleagues we log in a ticket and move on. Eventually the calls stopped, presumably because the account was finally functional and we didn't hear from her again. I haven't heard if she got into any trouble for it, but she must have generated quite a bill for her company over nothing. 3 minutes late. Preface: I work in a school as support staff, I'm not a teacher. I generally get to work at 8:15. Start time is 8:30. I arrive and go to the staff room and make a coffee and take it to my workstation. My manager doesn't bother with small talk, she's straight into discussing work, asking me questions, etc. Often before I even put my handbag away and fire up my laptop. I get a 45-minute unpaid lunch break, which is a bit long. I'm usually back at my desk within 30 to 35 minutes. A couple of months ago I arrived at my workstation at 8:33 with my coffee. My manager made a big production of lifting her arm up and reading her watch, which she can't read without glasses on anyway, and she wasn't wearing them, so it was for theatrical purposes, and remarked about me making my coffee after my start time. I made the 3 minutes up at lunchtime by coming back sooner than my 45-minute break. I take my lunch during the students' lunch. Their lunch is 1 to 1:40. The following day I arrive back from lunch at 1:45 and manager is hopping from foot to foot because we were needing to start class. I said my lunch is 45 minutes. Maybe I should take lunch before 1 to ensure I'm here at 1:40. She looks at the timetable and says that doesn't work, we have classes that go until 1, so you can't take lunch until 1. I firmly stated my lunch is 45 minutes, so that means I come back 5 minutes into lessons. She then stated that doesn't work and that she'll get the school to pay me for those 10 minutes. I'm the union representative for my workplace. I said they can't, my 45-minute break is in the award. And in actual fact, if we don't get our breaks, those minutes are paid at overtime rates. I now take my entire 45-minute break. Even though I'm done with eating and smoking, I'll fill in the 15 minutes checking Instagram. I also still generally arrive at 8:15, and I now have my pre-work coffee in the staff room and don't ever arrive at my desk until 8:28. I did exactly as I was told. Sray for the title, but it's true. It's not really exiting, but it keeps happening more and more these days, so I wanted to share it, mainly to write away my anger at my boss. This isn't structured and I'm not a native English speaker, so this might be hard to read. I apologize for any mistakes I will absolutely make. I am a forklift driver for a supply company of the automotive industry. Which means I am supplying the raw materials to the line, where they would get processed into the final products, like door covers, handles, cup holders, etc. My company has usually 6 to 8 forklift drivers in the morning and midday shift, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 2 to 10 p.m., and 1 or 2 for the night shift, in which production is basically non-existent and maintenance/cleaning, tool changes in the machines takes place. Today I was assigned to the injection molding line, which is the first and most crucial step of all production of the entire location. If this line stands, the entire factory stands still, costing about €1,200 per minute in material losses plus wages. The thing is, due to the pandemic, vacation season and the heat wave, the production was slowed down considerably from, as my workplace states, 120% to 70%. So we are already short-staffed, even for 70%. Instead of 6 to 8 forklift drivers, we were 3, 1 for the injection mold, 1 for the attached warehouse and 1 for the assembly. This means, nobody unloads, or loads the trucks that are frequenting the factory. In their downtime, so in the midday shift, the entire shift, usually the manager would be required to handle these tasks. So, me, as one of the faster workers, because I don't have to look at the logistic plans all the time, and knows where all the places are, helps where I can in assembly, cause my station and assembly are right next to each other. Management sees it and thinks that my station has a problem, because this has to be the case, if I don't work my ass off to keep the timing of the machines, and orders me to unload 3 trucks and load them as well. Unloading a truck and clear away the raw materials costs about 10 to 15 minutes. Loading about 5, because the shipment is ready beforehand and put next to the loading bay. This means, I couldn't be at my workstation for about 20 minutes. The problem is, that the injection molding machine works on an automated schedule and needs to be resupplied exactly every 6 minutes, due to the size of the containers which holds the granulate. But being a efficient, reads lazy, worker, I usually prep for about 18 minutes to cut down on travel distance and time if things get busy. I work my ass off to keep my current task inside said 18 minutes, knowing very well, where the blame goes, if the factory comes to a standstill because of no supplies. But just as I were to drive back to my workstation, manager comes to me and demands that I have to unload and load the next one as well, whilst he takes his 30-minute break. I don't want to, but I am technically not a worker there, but in time employee, Google Translate, which meant that I am not covered under labor laws for the specific workplace I am assigned to. Think of it as a subcontractor, who basically rents employees to companies for a given amount of time. So manager can just tell me to not come to work anymore, without any issue. Sure, technically, company has to continue to pay me, but I get a €3 bonus per hour on my base pay just to work at this company, which is on a voluntary basis for the contracted companies. Off to work I went. Of course, the entire factory came to a standstill just 5 minutes later, but management was out of house on break and I had specific orders to unload and load this truck. And I took my sweet time, since I had a coworker to back me up, since he heard the order from manager. And of course manager was absolutely livid, as he came back from break. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.